put my visor up, but I'm going to keep my black bit down because otherwise my eyes are going to... I can't do that at this speed. Oh. Hello folks, welcome to another edition of Bike at Elf Squirrel. We're out on a lovely, almost autumnal but not quite afternoon for a little jaunt, a bit of a catch up, let you know what we've been getting up to recently, and yeah, just have a bit of a natter really. I suppose now some of my journey is over for learning to ride. It's different things that I suppose we're out and about talking about. So yeah, we've not been on the road. Well, Chris and I haven't been out together on bikes for quite a while actually. We've done the odd here and there, but nothing actually of any distance.
Since your last video, really.
Yeah, just
I've
things.
been out quite a lot. But
I've been out quite a lot. It's
yeah,
just we haven't been out together. Yeah, I've now officially become that sort of biker that wants to go everywhere on the bike, and oh God, do I actually have to take the car? Sort of human, which I love. Thank you. Because it's nice. I prefer being out on it than I do being in the car, which is great, really.
that's as long as you don't get the little stingy needles.
Oh well, yes, the rain. I did get caught out in it the other day, but not as bad. But it was still painful. This little bike does not have any weather protection whatsoever.
In fact, I was on your bike yesterday, wasn't I?
You were indeed. Felt very, very miffed that I didn't have my bike. A lady and a dog. I'll just slow down in case that dog doesn't like bikes. There we go. Yeah, I had to use the car yesterday. Most disappointing, and it was dry.
So I had an issue with my side stand on this bike, whereby it's held on by two M10 bolts, and one of those bolts had at some point sheared off.
Big fat bolts, for those that don't know what that is. I hadn't got a clue. I wouldn't have a clue even if you said it. Anyway, go on, sorry.
So one of the bolts had sheared off, which meant that the other bolt was bending ever so slightly every time I put the bike on the side stand. And I got to the point where I was thinking, good grief, this is over at a ridiculous angle. And I was really struggling to try and get the bike up when I was taking it off the side stand.
Especially if you had mags on it.
Yeah. On some investigation, discovered that the remaining bolt had bent. I didn't know the other one had sheared. So then I had to wait a few days till I got replacement parts.
It's very rude. He stole my bike.
I did steal your bike. So it was all the way down to Reading and back yesterday.
But do you know what? It's such a good little bike, and it's so much fun to ride. And as you say, it's very flickable as I'm learning.
Yeah,
the more confidence I have.
It's a great bike.
Yeah.
I mean, it could do with some extra horsepower. Not for the top end. I mean, the top end. I think the most I had indicated on it was not anywhere near in excess of 70 miles an hour, but it was indicating more than 70. But according to the GPS sat nav, it wasn't going any more than 70. So I don't think the speedo was particularly reliable on it. So it could do with some more grunt though, just for the acceleration. And I do have to ride your bike differently to the way I ride mine because I don't have that acceleration.
Yeah.
So you've got to be a bit more careful with planning your overtakes and manoeuvres and things.
Yeah. Well, I've just been using it at every opportunity, and I even had a bit of a whinge to you because you were trying to help me get out of the garage. It's like, I can do this, I want to do it myself.
Yeah, I've created a monster.
That's another lovely little Northamptonshire village. There are some stunning villages in this area.
And it's a lovely afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really nice weather. Just nice to be out and about.
So we've got some plans, haven't we, for future content?
Well, yes.
I think that's the way they see it in YouTube land, I think.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit more planning and different things because obviously so far it's all been about me and learning on my bike, and now I've got my licence, it's you know, it's not quite the same, although I am still learning, you know. It's not just because I've got my flipping bit of paper now doesn't mean I'm not still learning. I still believe I'm going to be learning for a long time.
Well, and you will have a defined learner journey when you start getting on a bigger bike to work up from your A1 licence onto a full Cat A.
Yeah.
But we've still got some investigation to do, and probably some negotiation with a motorcycle instructor, because I cannot do that with you, because
The law dictates that you have to be in radio contact with a DVSA authorised instructor when you're on a bike that's over 125 with L plates.
Yeah. Which
So,
seems mad, really.
And I am not a DVLA motorcycle instructor, so in fact I'm not any kind of motorcycle instructor.
Yeah.
So
Well,
legally I can't take you out on a bigger bike. You'll have to do that with somebody who's got the tickets.
Well, considering I've done what?
About
2,700. Well, a bit less than that because you'd have done some of it.
Yeah, about
2,500
miles. Yeah.
2,500 miles on it is bonkers, really, isn't it? Because you certainly don't get that much on a training course.
no, I mean you get to be quite an accomplished rider. You know, there's no doubt about that. And you know, as you were saying today before we put the cameras and the microphones on, you know, it's now what you're missing now is the extra power for the acceleration, not necessarily top speed.
Yeah.
But although knowing you, that won't be that won't be a consideration that is missed. That you and your warm tyres.
Yeah, they're stickier, they're safer.
I have to say, you're behaving very well on camera.
It's safer on warm tyres. They're sticky.
I remember having a slight side conversation in the comments of one of username Kate's videos with her other half, whose name I think is Mike Pye.
I don't know.
Complimenting him on how well behaved he was on camera, because it's just not the way you normally ride your motorbike, is it, if we're honest? I mean, it is the way you ride your motorbike when you're learning, like you were.
Yeah.
But once you've got rid of those L plates and you've got some confidence, I defy anybody to ride their bike in the way that they would normally ride it, and then publish it on
Well, of
YouTube.
course, you've got. It's like anything, isn't it? You behave when you need to,
Yeah.
and that goes for lots of things in your life.
So I have got some content of my trip around Scotland with friends of ours, Mike and Ben, and we were debating whether or not we would put that on your channel or not,
Yeah.
weren't we?
Yeah, but it will give people something to watch. Obviously, it's not me, but it is very entertaining. The scenery is absolutely beautiful. It was not something I could do as well as Chris, because obviously we have children and you can't just abandon them. Although one would love to occasionally. It's fun to watch. So we'll probably stick some of them up, if not
Well,
all
I
of
think
them.
what we'll do is we'll put one of them up to start off with.
Yeah.
And if everybody goes, oh no, this is not what we signed up for,
Yeah.
then
won't worry
then we
again.
might reconsider. But if people say, if we get comments and people say that they're willing to watch
Interested.
it, they're interested. I mean, I think realistically, at some point, the content you put out on your channel will have to change if you're going to continue to make videos, because
Yes.
you're never going to be a learner forever, are you?
No, and that's just the way of things. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, I don't know that I'll do this forever. It's been fun cataloguing it. It's fun videoing it, but you know.
Oh, I think you're going to struggle not to do this.
What, riding or videoing?
Both.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think you're struggling. Because although you don't do the editing and you don't watch them back, you do like doing them.
Nearly took off with my seat back then.
Yeah, it's a bit bumpy.
Why does this comes out in a village somewhere, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oddly enough, most roads do eventually.
Wait.
Thank you for your helpful navigational tips.
No, it's good.
This gets to a village eventually.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, I think.
I'm still trying to do the odd U-turn, although I did put my feet down the other day because I just couldn't be asked. I didn't feel any guilt whatsoever.
Just remember that you need to keep that up, because you will have another test in your future.
I know. And it'll be back to bloody figures of 8, won't it?
Yeah, I think it's easier on a bigger bike though.
And it'll wind me up as much as it did
I
back
do
then.
think it's easier. Mention in the comments if you think it's easier on a bigger bike as well. But I certainly do. I just think you've got more you've got more rotating mass, you've got more gyroscopic forces at play with a heavier engine going round.
I'm going to go
And
this way.
I think it's easier to do low speed manoeuvres on a bigger bike than it is on Ruth's 125. I mean, it's a nice bike. I like that 125.
Yeah.
And strangely, actually, it's the first 125 I've ever ridden legally. I say legally because I have ridden bikes when I was younger,
Yeah.
but they were generally off-road.
Is it round the corner? Yeah.
That's the way the road goes.
But it wasn't immediately obvious, that was all. I perhaps shouldn't say that sort of thing. Yeah,
What?
it wasn't immediately obvious that there was a road still to go.
You're a bit special, aren't
Yeah, I
you?
know. Very special.
The giveaway was there was a right-hand junction on the left-hand
I
side
know.
with giveaway markings, so it tended to indicate that unless you were going to drive
Through the
straight into
wall.
the building,
Yeah.
it was going to the left.
I didn't want to do that.
So we have, though, we have got our youngest on the back of my bike.
We do now.
We spoke about it in the last video, didn't we? But
Yeah. He didn't want to
he's-
come out today, did he?
No, he
It's
didn't want to
after
come out.
school, but he
No,
didn't
he-
want to come out.
He had an appointment with Technic Lego.
Yeah, he's
It was,
been working on it.
Yeah, he's been working on
Wanted
that
to
for
get
a while.
it
so-
finished.
But I'm sure he will come out with this at some point in the not too distant future. And there might be some, just me and him going camping, and then maybe the three of us going camping. We'll see how
Yeah.
that works out.
It does make life much nicer because it means we can use the bikes a lot more as a family, because my eldest is now old enough to be on their own, and it means that we can just stick mags on the back and off we go nice and safely. And
Yeah, it just opens up a whole other range of adventures to have, doesn't it?
which way?
I'll go right.
Thrapston. Perhaps should have gone then, but I didn't.
Nah, just take your time. There's no great hurry.
Yeah, no.
Are you in the right gear?
Yes, I am.
I say in a condescending way. I'm waiting for you to beat me up verbally.
No, well, I did try and pull off in the wrong gear earlier, so. Sounds so loud in my helmet, your engine.
You what, sorry?
Sounds really loud in my helmet, your engine. You do
Well,
that?
giving it a bit of beans.
Yeah, I thought you were, but it's just sounds really loud.
Yeah. It's just nice to be out, isn't it?
It's lovely.
So, now that you've got to that point of, losing the L plates and getting the A1 license and having a good bit of experience of riding about without the L plates, do you notice people treating you differently on the road?
Yeah. I don't get cut up as much as I used to, which is quite nice. I don't get things trying to pass me all the time because they've got an L plate on and think you're slow. And obviously I said before that the other bikers now actually acknowledge me. Oh, this is where we are. Ah.
So you're getting a lot more nods then.
Yeah. Although I don't tend to see a huge amount of bikers because I'm normally out in commuting hours, and I suppose weekends are normally much more biker orientated and nice summer evenings like today than Monday morning. But that's fine. I definitely know my confidence is much, it's just grown and grown in the last 6 months really. And it's so much easier. I don't think about stuff like I was before.
No, you've got that muscle memory built in there,
Yeah,
haven't you?
it's so much nicer to not have to be panicking about, well, am I in this gear, am I in that gear, what happens if I stall, panicking about stuff. I still make the odd mistake, I'm still wobbly occasionally,
Everybody does.
but I'm not beating myself up about it anymore. I think that makes a big difference. I think when you're learning, you're beating yourself up about stuff all the time, about getting it wrong, about it not being, you're just panicking constantly. And if I can say anything to people who are out there and learning now, that it eventually it does just click, and it's really weird. It happens without you realising it, and then as soon as it does, you like it much more. And because I know there were times when I didn't want to get on the bike, and I didn't feel like I was ever going to achieve what I thought I could achieve, you know, and I felt like I was always going to be this rubbish rider. And it's just nice now to be in a position where that's not the case. You know?
No, you're doing well. No, you're doing really well.
Yeah. Certainly enjoy corners a lot more than I ever used to.
I really noticed the difference, obviously, following you. Just
Yeah.
the acceleration, the speed, the confidence, the road positioning.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah, I mean, I do slow down the corners, but not as much as I was. If I don't know the road terribly well, I'm much slower, but if I know the road well, then you know what you've got there, don't you? And it's easier. And it's taken me a long time to trust that the bike doesn't want to fall over. And that's really something weird to get your head into. But actually, bikes don't want to fall over when you go around a corner. What they want to do is stand up straight. But it's in your head that it just feels wrong, really. And you've got to get your head over that and get out of that feeling that that your bike's going to fall over. And I think I still say to myself, trust the bike, it doesn't want to fall over. And I've got this little mantra that still runs through my head every so often when I think I might have taken a corner a bit iffy and a bit tight. I just have to remind myself that actually the bike doesn't want to fall over, generally doesn't want to throw me into the road. It's just a question of having the confidence to stick with it. I mean, I think I'm always going to have wobbles. I think that's just the nature of being on a bike. But it is iffy, isn't it? I mean, you've not got any protection around you. Everything else is a lot bigger and a lot harder.
No,
and they don't see you.
You are the crumple zone.
Sorry, I am what?
You are the crumple zone.
Yeah. And I suppose you scare yourself stupid sometimes, and then other times it doesn't happen. And I still have really bad days. The other day I went out, and every time I did something, I did it wrong, and it was just like, what the hell's going on? Oh, I should have gone that way, really. But it was just one of those rides where every time I did something, I was like screwing it up, and I thought, oh, well, it's just a bad day.
Go left here.
And the next day was absolutely fine. Next time I went out on it, didn't have any issues whatsoever. There's gravel there, careful. And it's just, I think there are good and bad, isn't there? Every time you're out, you have days where you think, oh God, that's awful, and days where you get on all right.
Yeah, I've been riding for many years, and there are still days when you recognise, God, I'm really fluid today. Everything's working really well.
Yeah.
And on those days, it feels like the bike is working better as well, and it isn't.
Yeah.
It's just you. You'll be much more fluid.
Controls better.
But then there's occasionally days where you think, oh God, my gear changes are a bit shonky, and
yeah.
And generally I think that comes down to whether you're tired, because obviously a lot of my riding is commuting. So,
Yeah.
and it's no great fun actually. Just trundling up and down the motorways.
No, it's not quite
that's
the same.
That's not fun biking, but fortunately there's a big chunk of motorway in my commute, but there's also some really nice bits going across the Chilterns.
Yeah.
From the M40 down into Reading, off the junction at Princess Risborough. That's a really nice road. In fact, I think it was Andy, Missenden Flyer, did that route maybe about a month, 6 weeks ago, and I'd commented on his video to say, yeah, that's my daily commute, and he's like, yeah, it's a great route, and it is. That bit is great.
Yeah.
But it's just the motorway in between it.
Unfortunately, if you're just trying to get to work, you can't really avoid the motorway, though.
No.
Slow down a bit.
Well, you can, but it'll just take you twice as long, which kind of defeats the
Yeah.
purpose of going on the bike.
I don't think I've been through this village before. Oh, pub. Which way? Which way? Left?
Yeah,
Right.
let's go left. Oh my God, you got it right. I said left, and you actually
I
indicated
did,
left.
but I was thinking of
You were thinking of it anyway.
thinking of it because I was having a panic
Why are
at
you
that
having
point.
a panic?
Well, because it was left or right.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, if you get it wrong, it's only wrong in as much as where I was suggesting to go. It's not a biggie, is it?
No,
we're
it's not that.
We're not going
it's
anywhere or doing anything. It's
just making sure my
going for a
indicator
ride.
is right. Thrapston.
I'm coming into Thrapston, yeah.
I know, different way round, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't normally come in this way.
No, I don't think
So there's a
I've
bridge
been.
over the river through here, and I think that's where the traffic lights are on.
Yes, one would assume it's a river, but it might not be.
You think it's a bridge over what, a field?
Just letting me go. Thank you very much. Oh, this is pretty.
Yeah, isn't it? Those willows are nice.
Ah. I've not done this bridge before. You live in these places and you just don't go anywhere, do you?
Well, I think you have to have a need to go somewhere, don't you?
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, this is not where we live, so it's not somewhere we go on a regular basis because neither of us work in this area. So,
yeah.
and it's not on the route. It's not on the route to anything, is it?
How many years ago people used to go on a drive on a Sunday, and it's the sort of place you drive across to,
Yeah.
isn't it?
So there is a really nice, there's kind of an old-fashioned kind of hardware haberdashery shop up here on the right-hand side that I've been to a few times, and that's the only reason I know where I am, really.
We're going to go straight across.
Yeah, go straight across.
Wow, look at that beef.
Oh yeah, half a cow.
Wow. That's a butcher's and a half, isn't it, in there? That's amazing looking. Oh,
H. Johnson
ribber
and Son.
beef. Oh,
It's
makes me
half a cow in there.
half a cow. Yeah, it probably costs about 100 quid. And then
Oh, and the
some.
rest. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that as I said it. I know our Christmas beef normally costs about 80 odd quid.
There's some very fancy shops in Thrapston, aren't there?
Well, it's Thrapston, isn't
Oh,
there?
that's the Den Bistro. That looks nice, doesn't
It
it?
does look nice. Which one? That
Right there.
one. It's Home Interiors. Oh no!
It
It's
is
Home Interiors and a bistro.
and the bistro. Yeah.
Oh. Cool.
Du-du-du-du-du. Now that's the little girl who's just seen a woman on a motorbike
I
and
know
smiled
she
at
did.
her.
She gave me a
Yeah.
big grin. It's
Yeah.
not a problem. Now up here, isn't this where the shoe shop is that I go to?
Funky
for our
little feet.
youngest,
Yes,
yeah.
it is. It's up here on the right.
When you have a child with autism, things like shoe shops can be incredibly overwhelming for them. So there's a fabulous shop up here for shoes. And
Oh, there it is on the right.
there it is. And they are so good with us. We book an appointment. We don't have to go, there's no other people there. He doesn't have to try them on. You know, we have a real sort of, they're just brilliant with him. It's, shoe shopping is very traumatic if you don't like change and you can't fit your shoes on anymore because your feet have grown. So you can't keep wearing it, and the designs have all changed, so they don't look the same as they did before, and they don't feel the same as they did before. It's very traumatic.
The other thing is having to make a choice.
Yeah,
You know, being forced to make a choice when you don't want to.
yeah. And
When,
as for
when
buying
neither choice is something that you want to accept.
well, and as for making a choice about shoes when you have to choose them for school and you hate school,
Yeah.
that's even worse. Anyway, I digress. Let's get out of here. Wah. Shit, should have gone. Never mind. See, that's the sort of thing every so often I still do that sort of thing where I think, oh, I've got a space there and don't go in it. I was too busy talking. I'm still being really good with my lifesavers though.
Good.
I am half tempted to go up this bit of traffic in a minute, but it is moving. You're filtering. Thought you
Well,
might.
filtering / I didn't have an awful lot of choice since that guy pulled out on me at the roundabout.
This is moving. I don't feel the need to filter at the moment. I am doing more filtering though, so an awful lot more filtering. I don't find it anywhere near as scary as I
Now,
was.
Some people might disagree with me in the comments, but when you're talking about moving between lanes of traffic here in this scenario, that's not filtering. Filtering is when you're moving between lanes
Two
of
cars
traffic
in
which
between.
are moving slowly.
Yeah.
So if you're going down a dual carriageway, for example, if everything was moving slower than you and you were filtering between the two lanes which are all going in the same direction as you, that's filtering, or as they call it in the States, lane splitting. If you're actually going down the gap between the traffic that's going in the same direction as you and the traffic coming in the opposing direction, that's just overtaking. That's not filtering. I mean, people refer to it as filtering, but as far as I'm concerned, you're just overtaking very carefully in the face of oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
But it's not legally the same thing.
Oh, come on, little VW, put your foot down. It's a motorway. You're meant to be doing 60 as you hit the traffic. At least.
It's not a motorway, it's a dual carriageway, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not the point though, is it? So bloody dangerous. Never mind, I digress. Anyway, now he's speeding up. See? Won't let them get past. God, well, I might as well go back in. Anyway, so I think I'll sign off here. Hopefully you can still hear me just about on the dual carriageway. But thank you very much for watching, and like and subscribe and all that jazz. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.